Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bantikow, where today we're gonna get as close to finished with the barley harvest as we can. I will off screen finish this and do all of the foraging of things, of the straw. We're gonna need to get some silage or grass cut eventually, and the way things are going, we're just not gonna have time. So I think I'm gonna actually leave 2 days before I plant, or I might even do the full rotation of harvesting everything and start planting a few fields at a time, because I need to get some grass cut. And the way things are going, I just won't ever have the time to do it, because I've been going on this map for what, 10-11 hours now. Nearly 12 hours, and all real time, and I'm still not finished the first harvest. This is a map that is ideally set up for multiplayer. Big multiplayer game, and I'm stupid enough to be wanting to do this solo. This is a part of my madness, and welcome to the insanity that is my mind. Because I do take big maps and say, I can do this, and then spend 12 hours doing a harvest. Now, if I was doing this single player, or like not recording this, I'd probably give up after this barley harvest, because I spent half an actual real life day doing this over the course of a couple of weeks, obviously. That's a bit silly, isn't it? That is just more than a bit insane, but I actually kind of don't mind, because it gives me something to just chill out and play around on off screen, because there is no way in hell that I would do all of this on screen. Number one, you guys would hate me for it, and I'd never be able to recover the channel from the hatred, and number two, who wants to see 24 episodes in a row of me harvesting one field? Well, 3 fields. And running around the foraging wagon. That's why I've swapped over to the harvester now, is I want to get away from the forage wagon on the screen for a little bit. I'm going to have to try and do something else. I think I've got an idea of what I want to do with the canola. Can't do a thing with the canola. Canola's up next, which means I'm either going to be driving around in the harvester or driving around in the tractor. Wonderful. I was going to say that if it was wheat next, I could get the Dawn forage harvester, start driving around in that behind the combine, and that'd be something new. Because I can course play up around. Well, I can do a course to get some silage to the main, chaff to the main farm to silage up. That's not going to happen, is it? Because unless I want to do a whole crop on canola, which is going to be the biggest amount of money I can get probably in the map, short of potatoes and sugar beets, but canola is good for the yield you get. Actually, potatoes and sugar beets are brilliant for the yield you get, but canola is one of the easier ones to work with. So short of me just doing whole crop with canola, I'm stuck with, well, a harvester and a tractor for collecting up the canola. Nuts. I may do some fertilization. I may just run around on the fields that I've already harvested up, these 3 fields that I've done, and throw some fertilizer on it. I can, in theory, also fertilize potato fields. The 3 fields of potatoes. Huh. I think I ran into one with a tractor the other day, so there may be a bizarre cut in the potatoes. That's from me being a bad driver. Again, that's the reason I decided to go with the tramlines mod, the lanes mod, whatever you want to call it. So the reason I went with this mod is to discourage me from being an idiot and driving across fully planted fields. Because I noticed that's what I was doing, was just, even on this map, was just, because it was the quickest way around, just driving straight through the crops. And that's silly. Replanting these fields is going to be fun, because I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. It takes my bad driving into account. That's going to be something I start figuring out once this harvest is done. One thing I do want is a bigger harvester, because, well, while this is nice, I'm going to have to get the 9270 or whatever the bigger... No, the New Holland. I'm going to have to get the New Holland CR10. It's just got bigger grain tanks and a much bigger header. Though I could use the 45-foot draper head on this, but then trying to get the grain wagons in underneath it would be hell. There is a way it would work. There is a way I could get that to work, and it is a tempting prospect. The only issue is then the grain tank on this would be ridiculously small for the size of the head I've got. So I think I'm going to stick with this. Yeah, I'm going to stick with this harvesting setup for now and get the CR10 ASAP. One thing I will do is I'll start at probably 5 o'clock in the morning in game time. I'm going to start bringing some of the barley to one of the sales points wherever, and hoping they're open, because I want to try and get the IT runner or IT runner equipment. I want to start getting that, because I think that's going to be the most efficient way of getting stuff around on this map, is with the IT runner stuff. Especially the grain container, the slurry tank is going to be brilliant, and the manure spreader, that's going to be amazing. And all of them can hold, well, except the slurry tank, obviously. All of them can hold manure. I've got placeable piles, so I can throw manure down at the main farm and collect it up from there. There are a few points in that I've found already that I can just throw big piles of manure down, because we're not going to be running out of manure very well. We will run out of it very, very quickly, but with the amount of pigs that I'm going to get as many pigs as I can, basically. Because I want to get this farm running as freely as I can, because I don't want to be trying to spend all of my money on things. Sorry, I just was finishing off a can of Coke. 10 minutes. Okay. One thing I do want to do is I want to try and get the seed production going, and for that I'm going to need to transport manure down to the main farm. So what I'm going to do is, I think at the start of the next episode I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to get either a conveyor belt, which is going to be the most likely option, or a shovel for the T6. That's the less likely option because it's going to take ages. And I'm going to actually have to go AFK for a few minutes, so I'm going to stop the recording here and continue on when I get back. Okay, and I'm back. And the game's immediately done. Oh, brilliant. This is one of the times that I'm really glad I don't live stream, because I thought I'd be downstairs for 10-15 minutes maximum, just doing some small things that I'd forgotten to do, obviously. And I ended up downstairs for almost 2 hours because my parents came home very, very early. They didn't make it down to collect my sister at all. She changed her mind and plans changed. So instead of just nipping downstairs, doing a few things and coming back up, I went downstairs, did my few things, then my parents came home and I had pizza. And now I'm back. But consolation, of course, is that it was a very tasty pizza, so I really can't complain too much. Also, for the first time in a while, I've got a second can of Diet Coke in a day. Might drink it later on, but I don't know. Yeah, but this is two reasons I don't live stream. One, my internet is generally terrible. Not good enough for live streams by any stretch of the imagination. And two, my plans change at about 10 seconds notice. Plus I'm actually genuinely quite busy a lot of the time doing various things, both for farms and other different things, and talking to people. So I can't remember what I was talking about 2 hours ago, obviously. But I do remember that I'm going to finish off Field 18 off screen after this episode. I'm not going to get any Aldridge recorded tonight. I'm probably not going to be able to upload... No, I'll be able to upload one of these. I'll be able to upload the first episode I recorded. Previous episode of Bantikow will be uploaded tonight. And this one will be uploaded tomorrow while I'm recording Aldridge, hopefully. Assuming Firefox decides not to be a dark again. So, yeah, plans have changed and things are different. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on both maps. I've been testing out a third map that I'm not... I thought it'd be good because it was a Canadian style map. And I may do a map spotlight of it, in fact. Because it is a good map, it's just doesn't fit my style. The field's a bit too small for my liking, personally. But it is good. From what I've seen of it, it is a good map. So the map spotlights may return on maps that I like, but that I don't feel are suitable for me recording a series on. Because I'm not all the time, but I'm quite regularly looking at different maps and kind of having a look around at the base of the map and you know, the main farm, just to see would it be good enough. And honestly, Bantikow, if I was doing the other series on Bantikow, I would have said no, never am I doing a series on Bantikow, but I decided to do the hardcore, so yeah, Bantikow. And so plans change. So I'm really uncomfortable. There we go, that's slightly better. So I was I'm going to talk about the news again because apparently I love talking about news and current events. The Top Gear situation. I used to watch Top Gear religiously until fairly recent, well, until it got dumped unceremoniously by the BBC, and I've been kind of reading everything that's been coming out about it, and apparently the last 3 episodes were supposed to go out as scheduled. The only difference being that Jeremy Clarkson wouldn't be involved, and the episodes would be primarily pre-recorded segments, which with Richard Hammond and James May doing some studio bits in between. Now what I've read, and I don't know how true this is, what I've read is that James May and Richard Hammond refused to do any Top Gear work without Jeremy Clarkson present. So obviously, the last 3 episodes just didn't happen, which is very unusual for me to be hearing. I agree with them if that's what they did, because really it's a show about the 3 of them and not just Jeremy Clarkson and not just Richard Hammond or not just James May. It's a show about the 3 of them being, well, essentially chavs, screwing around in very expensive cars and making fun of bad ones. Making fun of good ones as well, for that matter. But I kind of... a lot of the trouble Top Gear have been in, I found those jokes actually quite funny. I think Top Gear took them a bit too far. That they, got in trouble with them for them. Obviously, they've taken the joke a bit too far, but I don't really think they were intended as being insulting jokes. For example, during the week, a couple of days ago, if I remember rightly, there was a complaint. It went in about a year ago about it was a joke based around the word pikey. Now, pikey can have 2 different meanings. One of them is derogatory. English, please come to me. One of them is a derogatory term for gypsies, and the other, and what Top Gear are claiming and what the BBC have agreed, the other definition for pikey is just plain cheap. So the Gypsy Council of Great Britain, or some gypsy group, I don't know exactly what their name is, but, and literally a gypsy group complained, or a group of them, and obviously BBC investigated, and Ofcom, the television regulator in the UK, investigated, and they found no, it was just a joke that they took slightly out of context, because they took quite obviously they took the definition that was insulting to them. Where on earth is this thing? I'm just going to move this while the harvester's empty. So what I'm also possibly going to do off screen is get some mowing done so that there is silage and some grass as well. So I'm just going to set off this trailer of straw. I actually had to think about what I was transporting here. Gonna set off this trailer of straw. There's the BGA. Does that open at the moment? No, it does not. So that's time locked as well. And I really, really hope there isn't a bug with the map that these things do actually unlock after a day. Because if they don't, it's essentially game over, because I'll just have hundreds and thousands of litres, and I already do. I'll show you. I got 500,000 litres of barley just holed up, waiting to be sold. The other day, just kind of on a similar note and a different note at the same time. The other day, I think it was last night or the night before, I was watching part of a documentary on Guinness production, because obviously St. Patrick's Day, big time for Guinness. One of the 2 big times of the year for them. The other's Arthur's Day, which is a holiday they essentially invented as a marketing gimmick, which went surprisingly well and is still going to this day in September. But I only watched the start of it because that was the bit that I was actually interested in, kind of left after that. Guinness takes in barley and a full two-thirds of the entire Irish barley crop ends up in Guinness. And the only maltery in Ireland where the malted barley comes from gets sent off to the maltery to be malted so that it can be sent to Guinness. And the only maltery in Ireland, when they were making the documentary, it was kind of relatively bad times for Irish barley. The weather wasn't particularly suited to barley growth and barley maturation, so the harvest was a bit late for the winter barley. And they were showing the maltery and talking about, you know, how much barley would come in on any given day. And because the harvest was so late in the year, and there was just this perfect timed harvest, and all the farmers kind of said, "Yep, this is good. Our moisture levels are good. Germination seems to be good. All of that is pretty much bang on." Half of the Irish harvest took place over the course of about a week, and the maltery was taking in 4,000 tons of barley a day. That's, in fact, just the maltery was, because there was a second area where the rejected barley went. That was sold off for animal feed at a significant loss for the farmer, which is a bit unfair, but malted barley has to be made a specific way. And as it turns out, if you watch all my videos, you will know that I was under the impression that the crops that are harvested now in most fields are incapable of germination and incapable of breeding a new stock or a new crop or planting. Turns out that's wrong, because for malted barley, the barley grains actually have to germinate as part of the malting process. So I was wrong on that, and I'll apologise wholeheartedly for being wrong, because that's kind of who I am. If I'm wrong, I'll say so and apologise. Although until proven wrong, I will steadfastly hold my position on anything. So, yeah, 4,000 tons of barley per day was going into the maltery just for the malting process. They didn't say how much went to animal foods, but considering the weather at the time, and they were talking about that it was very wet, very cold, very damp, I would presume maybe half as much again went into went to animal feeds. So maybe somewhere in the region of 2,000 to 6,000 tons per day was being sent for animal feed at a loss to the farmer. But 4,000 tons in farm sim terms, that's 4 million litres. Well, in farm sim terms, according to the way the farm sim calculates, it's 4 million litres. In reality, it's significantly larger. I'm actually gonna oh, I've gone over time. I'm actually gonna pause the game before I finish up, and I'm on Firefox at the moment. Barley liters to tons, volume to weight conversion, substance barley, and I want liter. And that is no, I want tons, metric tons. Metric tons. Where's metric tons? Oh, weight to volume. There we go. See, oh, wait, more units. Metric ton. Okay, so I'll use kilograms. So 4,000 tons is 4,000, and just use grain barley. 4,000 tons is 6.66 repeating million litres of barley. And I'm sorry for that 2-minute long delay where I faffed about in Firefox. And I'm also sorry that the episode's going to have to end here. I've just realised we've gone over time because I kind of forgot that I'd already done 10 minutes of an episode. So that's 25 minutes now, so I'll leave it here. I've been Rainbow Dave, you've been watching Farming Simulator 15 on Bantikow. Almost at Bjornholm. Not on Bjornholm anymore. Please comment, like and subscribe and all of that stuff. That does help me very much and keeps me in a happy place. Very much so. In the next episode, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next episode, but I want to try and get the barley harvest done before midnight. In the next episode we will be passing midnight, so we'll see how much trouble we're in. Hopefully we should be in an ideal situation. This is being completely idealistic here. Ideal situation for this map is that it actually takes 2 days per stage, and I may fiddle around with that. Because if it takes 2 days per growth stage, it actually allows me to plant up the next crop of barley and sell off this crop. Possibly at a bit of a loss, but I need to get the money in, and with 500,000 litres just from this unfertilised, I'm going to say subpar because it wasn't fertilised, from this crop, 500,000 litres is quite a lot without fertilisation. Fertilisation improves it by, I think it's 100%. So I can expect 1 million litres of barley from the next harvest. That's a bit insane. So I'm going to leave it here. And until next time, and until I see you again, stay safe and goodbye.